Hello. Again, been a while. Things to do, everything else, places to go. Right, gonna have a go at doing this spindle. The shaft on it that fits in. You can see it fits in there. Now the thing is, when you read all the gubbins for making it, how accurate it needs to be, and it tells you to set off drilling it at 7.5. I've done that. That's been done. And then it tells you to go down with the 5/8 drill. Now, I'm lucky, I've found myself a 5/8 reamer. So I've gone down actually a little bit over 7.5. I think it's about 7.757, whichever. Now, don't ask me where it come from. I've had this sat in a box for so long, this stuff's got very hard. And someone might be saying, ooh, you're on the, you're gripping down on the flutes. Now, what I've done, got some copper wire, managed to curl it round somewhere, flatten it off, put it down in where the grub screw is, and then put the grub screw down. So the grub screw is actually on the copper, which is on, hopefully not damaging that. And then I've worked out the overall length is 4 7/8, and it tells you to actually drill, what was it, 5/16, but leave 3 1/16 and 3/16 shy. So if you convert that into 16ths, it's 4 14/16 minus 1 inch and 3/16 is 3 inches and 11/16. Yeah, which equates to 3.6875, which is 93.6625 in metric. So what I've done, set my vernier to approximately 93.65, put that stop on there and put that in there, and I'm going to use this as a stop, and hopefully that's going to get that. Now we shall go over onto the lathe now and see what I've been playing out there, well, setting this spindle up. Right, now all I've done, as you can see, is drilled this piece of high tensile steel all the way through. I forgot what it is actually. Hang on, I'll get a vernier. It's always handy having one of these. Right, like I say, on and off, having to do other things and what have you. What I've got it at, I've actually got it at 7.5. Right, well, what I might do, I've got some other drills. I might just run a drill through first, so it's not too much for the reamer. But that's in there. That's clocked up. Let's have a bit of light over here. And it's within 1,000. So that I might just run. I've got some 1 series drills, I'll see. But I'll get this set up now for putting that reamer through. And like I say, the stop will end up against there. Right, got my reamer in. That's all clocked up. I have made sure I have got enough travel to get up to the stop, because some ejectors on tailstops won't let you, and you've got to fiddle about with them, or you've got to look at your Morse taper sleeves, because some have slightly different lengths on the tangs, and this will do about 100mm before it ejects. So fingers crossed, loads of coolant. We'll put it down, bring it out, make sure things are clear, and see how we go. I mean, I haven't got any resistance. I actually measured it again. It was about 7.6. So it was a bit out with my vernier. So, and I've got coolant all over the bally place. Hang on. I'm multitasking. I'm winding and putting my tray up so all my coolant doesn't go all over the floor. I'm taking it easy by hand, and there doesn't seem a lot of resistance. I'm doing it very lightly with finger and thumb, so fingers crossed there's enough coolant going down the spout. Hopefully it's not piddling out around the back of my lathe. We're about an inch off. I get a bit of resistance there, but it's actually my the shaft on this. I don't know why, it just seems to kind of get tight. Right, so that's up. Must have a little tight spot somewhere on that shaft. Right, that's that. Right. Now, while I've got it all clocked up, I'm going to just put a little centre on there, the centre drill, so I can get a little bit more of a better seat. Let's just blow that off with air. Oh, it's not bad. Find my vernier again. Of course, I'm only doing this with the vernier. After all, that's all the art. Right, now then, with my vernier, I am getting 7.94. It should be 7.95 for the vernier, for the actual size, 5/16, I think. So, if I've gone down not too deep, that's leaving material on the other end for when I machine it out to, I think they want 8mm for the actual, the arbor that you make then. The other end there's an arbor that all your tools fit on, and this is when they tell you you want to finish this off when you've assembled it. That's why it says leave the other end. So I'm going to get this little centre in here and see what we're going to do from then. Right, I'm getting ready to do this job now. I've took my soft jaws out, and I like to keep mine, obviously, they've got numbers. I like to keep them oiled up because I have a hell of a lot of trouble in here with condensation. But for those of you that don't know, they have got numbers on them. 1, 2 and 3, and obviously 1, 2, 3. It doesn't really matter. Your chuck might be numbered, it doesn't matter. You spin your scroll round, like I say, a lot of you know this anyway already. Spin your scroll round until it starts. It could start there, could start there, it doesn't really make any difference. And then put 1 in, 2 in, 3 in. If they're not marked up, the easiest way, if I get them a bit more squared up, you look at the way the teeth are, there, there and there, they go downhill, so to speak. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3. How do I know? It's even got a number on it. And if you do put them in wrong, you'll soon find out when you put a job in and it spins all over the place. Anyway, we're going on to the hard jaws. Again, that should be number 1. Hey, that's good. This is. I can find the numbers on them. Yep, that's number 2, that's number 1. But again, same thing. Line them up Start with the highest and then go down. Quick brush, make sure there's no rubbish in there. Same with your scroll, every now and again. I mean, people know about these, they strip them down. Make sure your scroll goes around nice. Like I say, I use a mix of paraffin and oil because I suffer greatly in here with condensation. Well, that's one. That was number 3. And I just make sure that when the scroll's going round, that there's no rubbish. I mean, if you want to make sure that they locate, take the scroll past the hole, put the jaw in, and go backwards. When it clicks in, there. Like I say, you find out with time. A lot of people just use hard jaws, 4 jaws. I've been brought up with soft jaws. The trouble is you've got to have loads of soft jaws then for different jobs. So it's horses for courses. Right, next is now I've had a look down there. We're hoping it's been reamed out enough. Been reamed out from that side. So I'm going to lightly press it, put it in, get my centre out. Now I'm wondering what I'll have to do. I'll have to make sure I've got enough room to get my tool in with whichever centre. I did put a slight little chamfer in the end when it was set up. Don't know if you can see it or not in there after I reamed it. So that should be running pretty true. What I'm going to do, I'm going to tap it true. Get the clock out. A little bit out there. Get them jaws up a bit more as well. Right. Must at some point, I have got a better clock somewhere, I just keep using this old one. So that was about 5,000. That's wobbling with inside 1,000. So what I always like to do is go to wherever, if the needle's a little bit on the low side, and then start to nip it with your jaws. Things always creep. Give it a spin. See, it's moved a couple of 1,000. Moved too much now, I think. Try again. Right, I'm going to try that in with a centre. Give everything another tighten up, move my clock around. Right, job's in our jaws now. Nice long centre on there, so I can get my tool in. Clock on the end, which isn't the best clock in the world, but says it's within 0.1 of a millimetre, which is supposedly around the half a thou mark. So, and I've checked, I've got enough movement here, and I can get my tool in far enough. So I'm going to take a light cut, one gear, up to around about the length where I want to be, and then obviously I'm going to mic it, see where we are, and the next thing will be to see if my tailstock's out. So we'll get back when we get cracking with that. Right, just measured that. 2402, 2406. So we've got a run of 04. So I'm going to try and correct that. Right, so clock. Finger clock. Now then, line that out. We know what size we were at. Have our big blob of coolant on there. Now, it's smaller at this side, so I want to come this way about 0.02. Sorry, about, what am I doing? About 0.01. And it might be both sides. I can't think. It's too early. So, let's try again. Right. 2309. Yes, it's 2309. 2305. So it was about 06 before, it's now 04. So at least we're going in the right direction. I have had it holding pressure all night long and it has actually held. So at least it doesn't look like there's any leaks anywhere. Right. Try again. I have 22 point what 585. Say it's just shy of 59, and that one is 22.57. .575. 585, so I've got a 1.01. That's in metric, so that's about half a thou. I think I'm going to live with that because I'm going to polish this to get the bearings right. I'm going to take it down anyway, then I'm going to take the centre out, see if it springs anyway. I'm going to leave myself a couple of mil on, see if it springs, because this is a straight cut diameter all the way there. So I'll take it down, I might only leave 1.5 mil in it, and I'll take the centre out and see if it moves, and I'll get back to you when I've got that done. Smells like somebody's cooking somewhere outside. Someone's doing a Sunday dinner. Right, I have 15, maybe just over. And that's $14.99. I've got 01, maybe 012. I'm not going to start arsing around. That's going to get altered with polishing anyway. So, now then, bear with me. I'll come back in a tick when I go and dig one of the bearings out. Right, now, this nice little mic here, move that out of the way. And that is giving me 1301. I'm going to double check it now with a telescopic gauge because I can. I'd love some Bauer mics, but I haven't got Bauer mic kind of money. I think we'd all like them. Yes, I'm getting 13,005 reading that. So I want to head, I reckon, I mean size and size aren't going to fit, so I'm going to head for about 1303 and then start polishing some of this. When I find out where the bearings go, I mean, you know, the centre bits I might mark it, the centre bits just relieve it a little bit under, so I'm not tapping them all the way down because it said it's only important where the bearings go. Right, now the drawing actually states, and reading the instructions, that you head for 30.005 to 12.997, which it says if we've all got micrometers that are good enough for that. Near enough. We will probably use the 0 to 1 inch when we get down to it, but what I'm going to head for, like I say, is about 03 up on 13, maybe 02. I'll see how it goes, and then a little bit of polishing and probably relieve it in the centre ever so slightly. A little bit of a cock up with the filming here. What I was actually doing, I relieved a little section, as you can see in the middle of this now, and then deleted the other bit of film, battery went, everything. I relieved it just by a couple of thous, so you can move the bearing from one journal in essence to the other without tapping it all the way down, if you can understand what I mean. Right, what we've got here is our mark at 28, and that, just checked, this has got to be, this is what's funny, the drawing says 13, it's actually less, because don't forget you've got to get your bearing on, and then your bearing's got to slide all the way up to there, so there's artistic license here really. It's got to have an M13 or equivalent thread on the end, so obviously if you want a slide fit up there to get your bearing up, That's going to be 0.5 under. Now 0.5 is nothing much, but it means your bearing will slide on and will not go any further than that. So we're looking for 12.95, I would say, along here first off. There's a thread and then a pulley is going to go on there, so the pulley will be made, oh, and this little keyway, the pulley will be made to match that. Right, I'm all marked up where my bearings should be. Like I say, that sleeve's been relieved a bit there, so I'll just put a bit of chamfer on there. I'm going to rub this down so the bearing only ever so slightly so it slides up. Then I'm going to make sure that's down. Then it wants to be a nice fit. There, it's asking for 13 to 12.997. I think what I'll do at that point, I will get my tenths reading 0 to 1 out and see how we go on, because I've also got the sizes off the drawing in metric. I am going to be polishing by hand. I'll start off filming some of it and then won't film the rest of it, so that no one can say you shouldn't be doing that, because we all know we all take our chances. I am bracing this hand. You can't see. There you go. I am bracing that hand there. Well, I'm just forming that. I'm not doing this freehand. I'm holding that. Could really do with some 120 grit paper. Oh, that says 120. We'll give that a go. Like I say, these will all have to be washed out afterwards. Aha! Now, that's beginning to slide. See, that's only 0.1 under 13. It just kind of shows you how close things are. And don't forget, if this thing gets too hot, let it cool off, because you get something that's going to be nice and tight for the bearing. Once it's cooled off, you might find it flies on. Now that is stopping about a milli shy there. I shall try and just get it up to my witness line. That is virtually up to that witness line now. And I am measuring near enough 12.99, so it just kind of to show, that's 12.99 there. It kind of goes to show how much you've got. I mean, that boss there is, now that is 0.3 up. So I want to, where I've got my black, After that, that there should be down, which it is. That's 12.95. So I want to polish this to no smaller than 13 now. That is just over 13. Now that's got a 1. So I'm going to swap over onto this 240 now. Yes, you have got to be careful with your fingers. Now what I've got to do now, I've got to turn this down to the outside diameter of, I think it's the outside diameter, but I will check, could be the inside diameter, of the end caps, because like I said before, I'm kind of cheating, but I'm doing what we've got in the drawing. Let's go and have a check. Right, now what I'm doing is going to turn this OD down now, the full length of the job, to the same diameter what we had in here, which should be 2007, which we've got 2007 there. Oh, hello. A little bit of claret. I think I've cut myself on something. Don't know where. In a very sharp edge somewhere. It's probably on the edge of there. So, because what we're going to do, like I say, instead of doing a big deep recess with a tool, a facing tool on there, which I don't want to risk in case it snaps a damn thing. And it does say you can do this. It does say a special tool will be needed, or you can do it this other way. I'm going to do the same as this diameter here. And then we're going to go back and then step it up. And then what's going to happen then? I'm going to make a sleeve, and the sleeve's going to go over. Sorry, it's not going to be backed up. Hang on that. Going mad. We'll do that diameter all the way down there. Then we're going to make a sleeve that's going to be the same as the outside diameter, and the inside diameter of the sleeve is going to be the same as this. So it sits in there, if you know what I mean. And that will slide. Well, actually that's going that way. So that will butt up to that diameter, but the sleeve will go inside this labyrinth seal, and then you Loctite it on. It's in fresh air, so as long as it fits. I mean, you've got a clearance of 0.1 or about 4 thou, so you've got 2 thou size, so it's still got to be pretty damn close. And you've got to make yourself a sleeve that just taps on, and then they say Loctite it on. So first off, this diameter needs to be spot on. Right, next bit, there's these 2 diameters on the end. Now I am just lightly touching on, checking with my tip. This should be 111.1. It says 111.0.15. So what I'm going to do is do a light skim there, then come back, or at least call this. Just touch on. Now that's got 111.16, so what I shall do is reset that. And I get this all right. Do it again. 11.1 minus. Right. And then I know the full length of this is 123.8. So if I go to, I've got a part it up as well, so 124.5. And before we do anything, let's just recheck on the diameter I'm doing. Right, the diameter is 120. I might say the diameter is 20.7. Around about an inch there. Yep, that's just a couple, about 3 up. We'll polish that. Now what I've got to do now, because that is going to be, that is the same diameter as the inside, I'll work this out, the inside diameter of the end cap. I've got to do the boss now where the end cap actually slides on. We'll go and see what size that one is. Right, from this end it's 119.2. So I'm going to go 119.2 on my DRO down to 17.4. Wheel. That, he says, should now, yes, fit on there. Give that a quick polish. Right, one quick polish later. Hides all kind of sins. That's 17.4. And that is 120.72. There should be a little bit of polish after that. So anyway, that diameter is supposed to match the outer diameter, sorry, the inside diameter there. Because what we're going to do then is put a sleeve over that that's going to protrude past, and it's going to go in to there. Well, it's a couple of days later, and this is the spindle, and this is the other end of the what was left out of the high tensile steel. In the drawings it said you can use free cutting, but what I've not turned the OD. Turned the ID to suit the boss that was on the end. I've measured the distance and looked at the drawing to see what that drop essentially should be in there, and I put some Loctite round like what they said, and I've left it. It's gone a couple of days, so, and it was a little bit of a tight fit. I had to tap it on, so I've got this OD to turn down so it will fit in there. And if you can imagine, that's going to go, and that's going to slide in there, and then obviously I can face it up. So next thing to do is and I'll have to cut this off ever so lightly because I don't want to melt the Loctite, but the next thing to do is put this in the chuck, tap it through with these journals and this face there, because obviously I want this running through. That's why I wanted to do it this way around, get it running through, then I can get this running through with that face. So that's the next job. Right, I've got it clocked up there now, and I've got it within 0.01 of a mil, which is like half a thou. Now we have 2 thou side clearance, so that is what we're going to live with. Now I'm going to find myself a nice sharp tip, like I say, and slowly take this down. Just spin it first and see what it looks like. Yeah, it looks a little bit out, but like I say, that was the rough OD. That's why I wanted to turn it down in situ with that shaft. So we'll get our tool set up and start having a go. Right, now this is just for my benefit. I've got to take this down to 9.5, but I've took some of the bulk off and I'm making sure things are running true. So I've got 10.547, 10.47, 10.47. Right, I'm not going to lie, that's finished. Looks alright, but these are tight. That's going on, but it's tight. And the same with that one. So, I mean, that's turning round. That's not bad, but it feels like it's rubbing a bit on there. Now, the way I look at it at the moment, I know there's going to be a pullet fit on the other end, but that's the constant. I can't really do much about that. So these, I've just put the body back in, clocked it up to less than a thou. I'm going to tighten these down and just see if there's any burrs in there, polish them a little bit, and if need be, I am going to get the tool out and I might just have to take a slight lick. I don't want to, but if I've not done them to size, like I say, that's one of them's not bad. Can't remember which one now. Could be that one. Looks like it's got a bit of gunk on it there. And it's all cleaned out in there, but and it's 2 thou side, so they should spin free. So anyway, bit of tinkering. Right, yes, it was a bit of a pain in the arse. Now, right, that's gone on. Now, whether this one is about 2 thou in there, I had to put that back in. What I've done is kept the same setting and screwed them both in. I mean, they both run pretty true, which, like I say, when I assembled them all and I screwed them all up and screw cut them all up to try and keep it as true. I mean, it is a nice finish in there, but that is a couple of thou on the inside on that diameter there, different to that one. Right, now this spindle, they talk about finishing it off in the job because it runs concentric. I have just gone and touched up my soft jaws. and you might not be able to see it from here, but you will do in a minute. That's my clock, if it's in focus, and it isn't moving. Oh, it'll just be, there you go, look, it does move. Right, how's that? Whoop. Right, you're back. So, I'm going to take a chance and do this now, and set up for boring this, and have it set and have it done. That isn't moving, so it's clocked up. As far as I'm concerned, I've had it on the where the bearing's going, that face there, that face there. It's all supposed to be turned exactly the same. Yep, that's the same there. You're talking a couple of tenths, if that. Yeah, because this is an imperial clock, and that is hardly moving needle, couple of tenths. I'm going to take the chance and finish off this now. Right, ready to start boring this out. I have had to go and make myself, ooh, get it in the camera, a little boring bar. Now, if you remember, I made myself some little tool holders, and this is what I made them for. And I'm glad I made myself these now. This is a piece of quarter high-speed steel that I've, you can see, relieved the edges, took some off there for clearance, to make a small boring bar, and this was my intention when I made two of these. This is quarter and the other one's just over 10mm, so it can take 3/8, 10mm. This will take 6mm. It will take a little bit smaller with a bit of packing if need be. I might at some date make some round sleeves actually and use these for squaring. But anyway, that's that'll be another little project, but that's that made, and I am now going to set it up, get it on centerite, and very slowly bore this, and then we'll have a look at doing the angle. So we'll get back to you when I have set it all up. Right, after much arsing around and relieving this tool, it seems to be cutting now. That's just the way it is. So I've got to take this out to 8mm. Right, let's have a check. I'm putting felt tip in there. Right, I've got my mic. Just let me find my, there it is, one of these expanding bore gauges. I am going to find a piece of tool steel, ground up 8mm tool steel. So now I've got a touch on there. I mean, they are a little bit, if you've ever used these before. Now I'm getting, with a very light touch, 7.8. But we'll see what it feels like at the back of the bore. Now that feels consistent all the way down. And there is my 28.6. Again, we have took some out. We did hear the swarf ejecting itself out the back. That does go in from the last setting. And it only turns a little bit before I feel friction. I'm getting, I think I'm feeling the same friction in there and at the front, which means my tool's not been rubbing at the front, because if it had been rubbing it'd cut it bigger at the front. So very light touch, and I am getting that 0.1 under 8 milli, which I will have. I'm going to polish this. First off, I'm going to set this all up now for a 40-degree angle. Get my protractor out. I'm going to get my protractor out. I'll just shoot it a little bit when I get my protractor out. Have it all set up off my compound, because I don't trust the markings on the compound. And I'll get it as close as I can to drawing us for 40 degrees. We'll come back then. Okay, right, we're ready for cutting this angle on here. It's 40 degrees inclusive, so it's 20 degrees aside. Now, the scale on my lathe is crap. I know it is. I've done it before, and instead of using protractors and stuff, I've used the Joe Pine method. Go and check it out. I'm assuming lots of other people have done it before. You use your trig, and I've done the same as what he's done. I've got a couple of little marks on my top slide, and I know how much that is, 0 to 0. I've got approximately 70 mil. So I work my triangle out with my hypotenuse, and with my DRO and a clock on the spindle on my tailstock, I get a reading and I have to tap it round until I get it right. I mean, for a rough comparison, it is nearly a degree out my scale. So at some point in the future, possibly, that all needs re-etching. How the hell I'm going to do that, I don't know. I'm probably not. I'm probably just going to carry on using it. If I want an accurate measurement, that is, I'm going to do this way. Right, that's that done. And just as a check, set the vernier approximately 12.7, and that by eye looks about right. So, do a quick polish. I'll just polish inside there with a little stick, and that is ready for coming out. It still needs the thread on the other side, but we'll have a look, see what it looks like in a minute. Right, got the job whizzed back round, clocked up, and we've got a M13 by 0.75 thread to do on here. So I've actually got a 0.75 tip. Now my gears I've set up, I've once again used Ride the Gear Train. Won't get me chart. There we go. Once again, I've got, ooh, God knows how many pages there. If you go and look it up on the internet, it's superb if you've got a gearbox and you've messed around with your gear ratios and it says you're doing changing the box over. Right, so then let's have a look. The cheapy mics once again I had were playing up, and it was either that I used the mic on the GoPro. I've since been and got some fresh ones, and I am trying to use a different camera when I get around to it. Anyway, sorry for all the crappy noise up and down, but that's the way it goes. Cheers.